We have been receiving a ton of questions of late. I'm assuming that's because the weather is getting better worldwide in regards to tires, and specifically, Dave, what tires would you recommend for street use, Dave? What tires would you recommend for track use based on your experience? Are there any tires that you would recommend for street and track use? So, rather than cite some specific people's examples, let's deal with the question overall. Street tires. What do I recommend? Well, there are so many great tires out there that what I would say in regards to street tires is look at the profile of the tire. If you have a sport touring tire, it's going to be pretty flat. There's not going to be much roll edge to edge. If you get a sport tire, then the tire is going to be a little more peaky or a little more rounded. And then if you get a track type tire, it will be even more rounded. So why the change in profile? Well, obviously with a sport touring tire, you're not going to be trying to get the bike cranked over to 60 degrees of lean all the time from side to side. You're basically going to enjoy the ride. You might get quite spirited in regards to pace and certainly attack the twisties with a little gusto, but you're not going to get to the 60 plus degrees of lean. Therefore, the tire roll profile is lazy. Once you get off the middle, then it's a predictable slow roll to either edge of the tire, and that refers to front and rear. If you get a more, say, racing street type marketed tire, you'll find that when you get off center of the tire, the roll profile to the edge of the tire is a little more profound. The tire is more rounded. So what that means is as you roll off the top of the tire and roll onto the side, it's a quick roll onto the side, but the angles at which that side grip is offers increases more because of the pitch or the roll itself. So the more sportier a tire you get, the more U-shaped it is. You don't want to spend a long time in the middle of the tire, you want to spend most of the time on the side of the tire. That's why it's U-shaped, and that's why it also offers, because of that, sometimes dual compound for a street track tire where it has a soft edge and a harder middle. There are many types of tires out there like that which market themselves in that direction. What's the benefit of that, say, over a sport touring tire? Well, a sport touring tire is obviously, by the nature of its use, meant to last. It's meant to be durable. It's meant to go a considerable number of miles, maybe 8,000. A racing/street tire is not meant to do that. Maybe 3,000, 3,500 miles, depending on the tire pressure you run, because the higher the pressure, the better the longevity of the tire. The lower the pressure, the quicker you're going to burn that rubber up and use it up. So there's a compromise there. The other thing also to realize about a street/track tire is sometimes in the tread pattern itself, the tread doesn't go all the way to the edge of the tire. So you need to look at the tread pattern and go, okay, if I'm going to use a sporty tire, I need to be in an environment where it's not going to get wet. Why? Well, when a tread pattern doesn't go to the edge of the tire, if you run into standing water, there's no way for that tread pattern to eject the water through past the edge of the tire. Because the sipe is contained within the tire, it will trap the water, and therefore, as the water has nowhere to go, it will build up until the tire loses grip, and then the water will escape. So if you live in wet areas of the world, a track-focused tire with a tread pattern that doesn't have grooves that go to the edge is definitely a high-risk factor for you to use should you come into wet weather, which is why there are things like rain tires for the track that deal with that specifically. And track tires, let's move on to that, are designed specifically for very short life. The most I can get out of a tire at a very high rate of speed at the track, even if that tire is reversible, and we will not deal with flipping tires in this lecture, is somewhere between 600 to 800 miles. And at anywhere from $400 to $550 a set, we are paying for grip. We're not paying for longevity. And there are, of course, multiple compounds based on the time of year that can be offered to you: soft, medium, hard, or what would commonly be referred to as a endurance tire or a bowling ball, in that it seems like it will never wear out. And even in track tires, there are those types of compounds offered out there. Bridgestone offers an endurance tire. Pirelli offers the Pro Slick, which is very durable, and Dunlop offers a much harder compound tire, somewhat like a Daytona tire, that is very hard and will last a long time. So for the track, given the ambient temperatures and track temperatures you have in your region of the world, there are compounds available to you that will work. Now, would you use a track tire on the street? I have to say yes, I have, but I haven't done that because I want to be very aggressive on the street with a track tire. I've done that because I'm burning up the middle and commuting on the bike, and I want to wear out the tire completely. There's no sides left, but yes, because I race, there's a ton of tread in the middle of the tire. So I've actually used them because I don't see the need on burning up regular tires when I have a huge stack of race takeoffs. I've gone ahead and using those for the street. Now, of course, there is a huge issue in using race tires on the street. They're not meant for that. It says that clearly on the sidewall. And obviously there are some assumed risks, both legal and practical, that you put on yourself by using those on the street. As I said, I use them just to burn them up because I commute in a straight line. I don't care, and it saved me a fortune. Some may say a sad use of raised tires, but when the sides are completely gone, in terms of grip, there's no point me using them in track, so why not burn them up in a commuter? That also brings up, if we segue slightly, to race takeoffs that people use as well, both for street and track. Is that a good idea? Sure. If the environment's dry, you're not going to see wet weather, there's a cheap tire for you to use that offers some level of grip, or will at least give you an indication of how much grip a track tire offers over a street tire. Is it good for the track? Yeah, if your pace, for example, the fast guys are doing 148, they do 10 laps, they've got no more edge grip, the tire comes off, you could use that for 2 or 3 track days with great success. And $100 a set on an average for a set of race takeoffs, that's a pretty good deal. So yes, there are benefits to and from that. Would you use slicks on the street? No. That's just asking for your friendly law enforcement officer to come over and say, why are you so cheap? And why are you running a completely bald tire on the street? Or if he's a rider, ask you quite pointedly why you're running slicks on the street, and that's not good. So, thanks very much for the questions in regards to tires. We'll start doing a few more of these specifically in regards to brands and types, because people have a lot of questions on those too, so I'll help you out with information on that. If you have questions for me, please send them to Dave Moss Tuning at facebook.com, or alternatively leave them here for me on Catalyst Reaction SBW at YouTube. Thanks very much.